Line this morning with Jody Rainey, the principal at the Homer Center Senior High, Junior Senior High at the high school there. And our conversation brought to you by Marcus & Mack, a law firm representing injured people. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Todd?
Wonderful, wonderful. I know you've been wearing a lot of hats lately. We had you on the air with a fire call a couple of days ago. Of course, the Heritage Conference Championships and the road to the KCAC, very successful. The District 6 playoffs underway, but we want to focus in for this portion of the visit, at least, on Homer Center and what's going on within the hallways at the school district. Of course, we had on the air with us Clint Weimer the other day from Marion Center talking about this point of the year is really a key when you're turning toward the springtime and you're trying to get some really serious academic work done. At the same time, you've got state tests that are coming. And so the kids really need to buckle down right now, don't they?
They do, but I'm a big believer down here at Homer Center. What we believe is if we're teaching standards and, you know, we're teaching what we are to be teaching and we're providing rigorous assessments throughout, then the test is just another test and it's another day at the park. That's kind of the approach. But I do think it does create a little bit higher anxiety if I'm being truthful about it. So, you know, we just asked our kids to do the best and do, you know, put forth the effort and try to apply the things that we've been teaching in the classrooms. And, you know, and there's two ways to look at test scores, in my opinion, Todd. One is there's achievement, which is, you know, when you look at it as somebody advanced, proficient, basic, below basic. But there's also growth, you know, and so I'm a big believer that growth data means more to me than achievement data. Because if you continue to grow and project on the upward bound, that means you're moving towards your potential. And second is you're never going to meet proficiency if you don't grow. So, you know, so that's kind of how we take it. We try to keep it a little bit less, at least stressful as we can. But, yeah, we're getting ready for those like everybody else.
Yeah, and with that focus upon growth of the student in the academic setting, it really does personalize that child's education, doesn't it? It almost forces a school or a school system to be sure that every base is touched when you're dealing with kids on an individual basis and looking at what is going on academically for each one of them and in school life as a whole.
Yeah, you try to create a culture, Todd, that the only person you're really competing against is yourself. I spent, 20 years and 18 on another child that actually lives with me at home, trying to get them to understand that in life we want our kids to give their best effort. And sometimes, unfortunately, our best still doesn't get us what we desire, but you can't give more than your best. And, so I do believe that in the individual, a kid that scores, let's say, below basic, but he then the next time around, and then data shows that he grew, and, that's what it's about. His efforts still matter. We can't lay all the effort on, is it advanced, proficient? We have to lay it on, did you grow? And if you are growing, then that's reaffirming to our teachers as well that what they're doing in the classroom is working. I mean, ultimately the goal is to get them to that achievement standard, but making sure that, and expressing that and celebrating that with kids is like, hey, you might be basic, but you know what? Look how far you grew. You keep working, keep doing what you're doing. I can tell my teachers, keep doing what you're doing. It's working. We're moving in the right direction. And I think that's what it's about. You're always looking for continuous improvement, not only academically, but in self. And so that's what we try to emphasize down here. And, we've had a lot of success with it. So we'll keep going that way until something else comes around that maybe keeps us to go a little further.
We hear a lot about the educational gap that was created by the response to COVID, and especially in 2020. Toward the end of that school year and then moving into the first part of the following school year, which would be last year. And that being the case, each school district has to really pay special attention to what was going on within their classrooms and within the educational platform for each kid. How has Homer Center handled any perceived gaps in a kid's education?
We just teach. I mean, I know that sounds real simple and I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I do. I think that, every year you try to meet kids where they are. So does that mean we have to backtrack into a previous course? in a sequential order of courses, and maybe spend a little more time maybe teaching, reinforcing, reteaching concepts that maybe they should have been able to carry over. Yeah, I think that's every year though. Like you always want to kind of assess your students at the beginning of the year, see what was retained over the summer. COVID just has a bigger gap than the summer, obviously. And so I think that, using data to drive instructional decision-making is something that we spend a lot of time with our teachers with. So, I can honestly say that we've had some situations where we've had to really fill in some missing gaps. But you do that because, a child will never learn how to walk until they can crawl. And so if someone along the line, they missed crawling, then we've got to go back and backfill crawling. And, so that's kind of the approach we take. We don't try to overcomplicate it, try to keep it as simple as we can. But there are foundational skills kids need to know to order advance into subject areas as they get up into the senior high, especially from junior high to senior high, elementary to high school. And so we just try to backfill them and try to establish that foundational knowledge that we need. And we do that through trying to assess students at the beginning of the year to see where they are, and then base our instructional approach off of that data that they have put on paper and showed us where they are.
Jody Rainey with us, the principal at the Homer Center High School, and also the president of the Heritage Conference. And it was just a couple of weeks ago that we completed the road to the KCAC, had a fantastic night at the Kowalczyk Complex. The attendance, I know, was pretty heartening to see, especially in the atmosphere in which we found ourselves. But everybody seemed to do the job and had a great night there at the KCAC a couple of Fridays ago.
I just want to thank the communities, and not only the teams that were participating, but the Indiana County community, the Heritage Conference communities at large. The turnout surprised me. I thought we'd have a decent turnout, but it was just like we never left. And so I really appreciate that because the kids deserve that. And I know it meant a lot to them, and it meant a lot to us as a conference, the support we got just from people coming out and supporting the kids and watching the games and enjoying the other parts of the evening. But then on top of that, too, First Commonwealth Bank for stepping in and filling the void that we had in sponsorship. I can tell you that I'm confident that the partnership with First Commonwealth Bank will only just continue to grow and get stronger. I know both parties, the conference and First Commonwealth, and even our secondary sponsors, so many of them stepped up this year too. It's hard times for a lot of businesses and still hard times for some people. And just the support that the people that they gave to the kids is very meaningful and very appreciated.
I'm sure that focus on the kids was what it was all about for them as well, and to see the displays on the upper concourse, to watch as the students came out to accept their scholarships, and to listen to the atmosphere that night was just a tremendous thing. And now you move on into the District 6 basketball playoffs, and they're underway, and the excitement continues to build, doesn't it?
Yeah, and Heritage Conference obviously on Monday got off to a great start. All of our teams that played Monday advanced and won. So I know for Homer Center, we go tomorrow night here at home at 7 o'clock against Juniata Valley. And those tickets, District 6 tickets, are only available through Hometown Ticketing. We have links up on our Facebook page, and trying to put that link out everywhere we can for people who might want to attend tomorrow night. It's just District 6 basketball, Heritage Conference playoffs. It's just an exciting time, and again, it's experiences for kids. Unfortunately, not both teams can win, so someone's going to win and someone's going to lose the game. But I think that trying to create a championship atmosphere and letting those kids know that, we recognize them, we support them. And, I just think that's the exciting part of this time of the year.
Yeah, I think something that goes under the radar a bit, and I know that the Homer Center girls are going to have their banquet tonight, is the fact that When these kids play basketball or volleyball or baseball, softball, football, whatever the sport happens to be, it represents not only a commitment by that student who becomes a student athlete, but it's a whole family affair. And families have to get involved in this, and they have to be supportive. Moms and dads have to get up early in the morning and drive their kids to wherever it is that they need to go in order to get a practice in or a scrimmage goes or whatever it happens to be. It really does bring it all together and make it into not just your school family, but your entire family becomes involved.
Oh, they do. And, and I really have a lot of respect for the parents and all they're trying to do is provide great opportunities for their own children, and how much time that they spend transporting kids back and forth, not only to practice during the season, but off-season workouts. And I'm sitting here looking right now, we were in the Quiz Bowl yesterday for Neath County Quiz Bowl, and our varsity team got third place. And I'm looking at the list right here in front of me. We got kids like Gabby Page, who's one of our volleyball players and is very talented in the musical and performance, and how much time Gabby commits to those things and still performs academically. Justly Sharp, who a lot of people know Justly because she's a medalist in states and track, and Justly's a starter on our girls basketball team right now. One thing people don't know, Justly's a pretty bright kid too, and how much time she actually invests not only doing athletics but also academics for herself, but also representing our school in academic competition. And then we got Sophia Eastman, who's a cheerleader for us, David Eastman, Matt Malacker. These kids do so many things, but they still manage not only to do well in the classroom, but then go out and represent Homer Center in the academics and competition as well. I don't know how they have time to do. I didn't know there was 50 hours in a 24-hour day. These kids do so much, and it's their parents. I can't imagine working and running these kids all over the place. So it is. It's a family thing, and it's a good thing for families too. It's a big commitment on the parents' behalf, and that doesn't go unrecognized.
Yeah, absolutely not. And we need to shout out to those band parents too, because those kids get a recorder put in their hands in second grade, and then parents understand, oh boy, I'm committed to this for the next 10 years.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned band, so we just had two kids that made all-state wind ensemble. Beth Shirley and Annalise Spade, both were they advanced from the last festival that they have been named into the all-state band, so they'll get to go. And Anna Lee, because she's a junior, she actually gets to audition for not only Eastern but also national recognition as well. So it's again, and it's those kids are very talented and very deserving. And we went a long time in Homer Center having nobody on all-state band, and it's almost kind of like we got kids being named. Now we got two in 1 year. Mr. Stolars and that group, they work extremely hard, and they take a lot of pride in that. And we're very proud of them and their performances too in the arts. It's phenomenal. It's
a beautiful thing. Jody, we're out of time. Thanks so much.
Hey, Todd, can I squeeze in kindergarten registration March 9th? So there's stuff posted on our webpage for those people in our community. Kindergarten registration on March the 9th.
You did it. Thanks, sir.
All right. Thanks, Todd.
All right. Bye-bye. It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. We went a little bit past the marker today.